Satoshi Nakamoto invented Bitcoin, and more importantly, its underlying blockchain technology. Because it's going to change the world as much as the internet did. Satoshi Nakamoto was nominated for the Nobel Prize in Economics, and he is a multi-billionaire.
Yeah, I think Simon's finally lost it, people.
And yet, no one knows what he actually looks like. He might not even be a single person, and the name may serve as a cover for a group who came together for the sake of starting a digital revolution.
I have no idea where Simon is going with this one.
In the very beginning, this idea was only popular to anarchists and libertarians who had the goal of living their lives free from governmental rule. While they are small in number, this community is incredibly passionate about their philosophies to this very day. They were the first ones to cling on to this Bitcoin revolution, and many called Satoshi Nakamoto a hero. It was almost immediately adopted by criminals.
Oh, here we go!
In 2011, a website called the Silk Road appeared in a web browser called Tor, which is used to browse the dark web.
No, that's not how it works. Tor is a method of securely routing packets over the internet in a way that your government or ISP can't see. At some point, there's an exit node that goes out into the open internet to get to your website. But you can also set up a website on this encrypted network, so all the traffic is hidden. It doesn't just show up in the Tor browser. You have to go hunting for it. You have to know it's there, and you have to find the way to it. And it's not just as simple as typing silkroad.com or something like that. It was some random mess.onion. That's how Tor addresses work. You have to find out what that random mess is, which means you need to do some work to go find it.
The founder and kingpin of the Silk Road goes by the name of Dread Pirate Roberts, like the character from The Princess Bride. You can buy anything on the Silk Road, including human slaves and hit orders from assassins.
Wrong! In fact, Ross Ulbricht, the creator of Silk Road, and the other administrators, all of whom had access to the Dread Pirate Roberts account, actively policed and banned human trafficking, hitman services, weapons, and things like that. He was accused of hiring hitmen, but there's no evidence to back it up. The charges that he did so were dismissed with prejudice, which means they cannot be refiled. But that didn't stop the kangaroo court under Judge Catherine Forrest from making this claim to the jury, without charging him or giving him any ability to defend himself against it, as well as being a big part of Forrest's justification for her double life sentence, when under federal law, what he was actually charged for should have only gotten him 10 years in prison.
So once Bitcoin started getting a lot of bad press, Satoshi Nakamoto was very upset to see how his project was being used for evil.
Evil, huh? The Silk Road was a gift to the world. Yes, there were a lot of illegal products such as drugs, but remember, there wasn't any way they could actively reach out to people. People had to go there seeking it, which means that they weren't seeking it out on the streets. Silk Road gave them an easy, safe way to get what they were looking for without having to take the risk of dealing with criminals in meat space. And all of these were voluntary transactions. Yes, governments all over the world have stupidly declared marijuana and other inanimate objects to be illegal, but that doesn't change the fact that these were victimless crimes, not real crimes at all, and were peaceful, voluntary exchanges with no harm done to anyone. It's using force to act against that that's evil.
At the moment, there are very few alternative coins that are legitimate companies and not simply scams.
There are a lot! Most cryptocurrency projects aren't scams in any way. Bitcoin Cash isn't a scam. Dash isn't a scam. BitTube isn't a scam. Monero has a bit of a scammy past, but the present developers seem to have corrected for it and moved beyond it, making Monero a legitimate currency. Dogecoin started out as a joke, but has become a serious cryptocurrency in its own right. Zcash, Horizon, I can go all day listing cryptocurrencies that aren't scams. One wonders what he's really trying to do here. Maybe that'll become apparent as this video goes on.
Without a leader to guide them, Bitcoin believers debate over the question of what would Satoshi do. They quote and analyze his old emails and his publications. The Reddit boards are filled with heated debates trying to interpret Satoshi's words as if they're their Bible. At this point in time, Bitcoin transactions take several hours or even days to go through, and they cost roughly $40 in fees per transaction. It's got to the point where it's almost as expensive and as slow as the old-school banking system.
Yeah, but there's competition. Dash transactions take less than 1.3 seconds and only cost about a 20th of a cent.
The idea of saying Bitcoin will be around forever is kind of like saying that dial-up internet should still be around too. Even though the tech has been in a serious downward spiral and other companies like Ripple have drastically improved upon blockchain technology in recent years, much of the Bitcoin community is just in total denial. They continue to have blind faith in the original Bitcoin and in a man or group who isn't even around anymore to give their input.
Then why do they keep changing it? Why is BTC trying to fix things with SegWit and Lightning? Why is BCH, in claiming to adhere more to Satoshi's original vision, working to improve speed, scalability, and security while reducing transaction fees? If this really were their Bible, like you claim, why do they keep making changes to improve it? Religions don't do that.
The FBI showed up on someone's property with a warrant. They dragged out a man with black hair and glasses and arrested him under suspicion of being the mysterious founder of Bitcoin. His full legal name? Well, that would be Dorian Satoshi Nakamoto. Today, Dorian Nakamoto has been affectionately titled the Fake Satoshi, and members of the community actually love him. Then, in 2015, yet another potential candidate emerged in the media. US authorities raided the home of an Australian man named Dr. Craig Wright. In 2016, Wright agreed to do multiple press interviews claiming that he was the real Satoshi Nakamoto. It has been published in multiple venues that he is the real Satoshi Nakamoto. But after seeing the likes of the BBC and The Economist vouching for him, many people in the cult of Satoshi began to believe that their messiah had returned and he was back to tell them exactly what to do with their money.
I'll say it again. If Craig Wright really is Satoshi, it would be trivial to prove it. Sign a message with the keys used to generate the Genesis block. It would be stupidly easy for the real Satoshi, almost impossible for anyone else.
Some people theorize that Wright isn't Satoshi Nakamoto at all, and he may actually be the true Dread Pirate Roberts.
No, he's not DPR either. He's repeatedly shown technical incompetence in all of the relevant areas, and has been caught revising things like old blog posts to make it look like he knew more than he did. There is no way this clown is either Satoshi or DPR.
But if Satoshi Nakamoto is still alive, and if he is truly just one man or even a group of people, why haven't they touched those billions of dollars that are sitting in their Bitcoin wallet?
For the same reason he hasn't come forward. You said it yourself. As soon as there's any indication that someone might be Satoshi, the feds come and raid his home. They did it to Dorian Nakamoto. They did it to Craig Wright. Governments want a monopoly on money they can steal from the people in the form of inflation. They do not want competition.
And what does he think about the corrupt system that Bitcoin has become?
It hasn't become a corrupt system. Not in any way. We have a healthy free market with lots of competition. Why don't you mention the enormous benefit cryptocurrency has been in places like Venezuela, where the currency is so badly inflated it's unusable and the banking system is completely broken? More and more Venezuelans are turning to cryptocurrency. In fact, over 2,500 brick-and-mortar vendors in Venezuela take Dash. Dash boasts almost 5,000 worldwide. So, why is it corrupt? Just because people like using it to buy something that you don't like?
And this leads us to our final theory, David Schwartz, who is now the lead cryptographer at Ripple.
I can't believe this guy keeps going on about Ripple like it's the greatest thing. Makes me wonder who's paying him for this. I know I shouldn't go blindly accusing someone of being a shill, but when he tells blatant lies about every other cryptocurrency, and everything he says about Ripple is marketing hype, what am I supposed to conclude? Cryptocurrencies are supposed to be decentralized. Ripple is highly centralized and too easily manipulated by the currency's top-down corporate management. Its blockchain is closed, so the public can't review it. It's designed to be inflationary, which is diametrically opposed to the idea of cryptocurrencies being slightly deflationary to benefit holders. And I don't know of any sensible person who believed its circulating supply figures for a microsecond. It really seems like holders are just transferring a lot of money between wallets specifically to inflate that figure. 'Cause, where in the real world can you even use Ripple? There are real-world merchants who take Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and others. Where are all the Ripple merchants? Again, he keeps avoiding Dash, which is a truly decentralized cryptocurrency. The corporation that develops Dash, Dash Core Group, takes their orders from a trust run by the masternodes, and it's the masternodes that run the network. Currently, there are upwards of 5,000 of them. That's in addition to the nodes that mine the network.
In 1988, Schwartz filed a patent of a distributive computer network before the existence of the internet. In a lot of ways, his idea was almost identical to Bitcoin 20 years before Satoshi Nakamoto appeared on the scene.
He keeps going on like this, trying to prove that David Schwartz is Satoshi, when Schwartz himself has said that he's not. In fact, He wasn't even aware of Bitcoin until 2011. Oh, but that's just what the real Satoshi would say. Only the true Messiah denies his divinity. Now who's being religious?
Schwartz is no stranger to using aliases either.
Oh, come on! Practically everyone online uses aliases at one time or another. That doesn't make him Satoshi.
Banks around the world are already beginning to use the Ripple network because it's the only one that's even remotely possible to use in the real world.
Tell that to the thousands of people using Dash. Do you see what I mean? It's like this guy is reading off bogus marketing points. I think we can write this off as one more thing you shouldn't listen to Simon Whistler about. Hey, thanks for watching. Please hit like and subscribe and keep these videos coming by donating, becoming a subscriber and getting special benefits, or even for free with airtime. And check out all the great content here, like this video selected just for you.